Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael. Now, in today's video, this is episode 6 of the Let's Play series, and the park is still yet to be named. Although I think I'm going to follow or name it after a name suggestion that Iron Maddie gave me pretty early on called, I believe it was Three Towers. Oh gosh, I can't believe now I'm forgetting. I gotta look back and see because of how the entrance was set up. So I'll definitely gonna look at that. But as you can see, you're kind of getting a little glimpse of some of the work that I've completed this week. But before we begin, as of right now, with me filming this video on Thursday night, Jasmine and I are sitting at 299 subs, and so that we might be at 300 hopefully by the time this video is released. But I just wanted to take some time to thank all of you guys so much because this has been just such a phenomenal couple of months, kind of getting into gaming in this aspect. And Jasmine and I just had no idea that it was going to grow like it has, and that we were going to really become such a part of this wonderful Planet Coaster community. And so, thank you guys so much for always, leaving us great comments and suggestions and encouraging us all along the way. And hopefully, we continue to make videos for a while and continue to build relationships. And I really appreciate everything, and I know Jasmine does as well. And so, let's get started with the video. This will not be that long of a video, and like I said, it's kind of an update because right now with how I kind of build, it's kind of really stressful to do speed builds just because I'm kind of all over the place. As you can see, haven't really finished the pathing here. Haven't done any more yet on the coaster because I got to try to figure out what I want to do specifically in this area. And I'm just kind of lost on that right now in terms of not having an idea of how I want to theme kind of stuff around the coaster. Do I just want to put a lot of trees? Like, I mean, what do I want to do? Because as you can see, kind of probably going to do some rocks kind of around there. And but yeah, so last episode, if you didn't see it, I kind of showed you some of the stuff I worked on here. But I really love this interior of this transfer track. I think it worked out really well. And so you can see there's still some details that I need to do on that part. And I think I want this to be like a souvenir shop. Or actually, no, I need a locker building. So I'll probably make this where people can store their stuff. Like I'll make custom lockers. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this is like to one side of the park. So that'd probably be good for souvenirs. This area here could probably serve as my stroller rental / locker area, kind of like I did in Canyon Valley. Because, or hold on, as my UK friends would say, push chairs. I think that's what it is. So, I mean, let's be real, guys. Saying a stroller's better. Come on now. I'm just kidding, man. But yeah, so that's kind of my plans there. And so as you can see, there are a couple of new things, which I'll say this coaster here in the background, I don't know if this is going to go in the park. I made a video the other day showing a POV of it. And so I love all the feedback that I got. And so I definitely need to look at that initial drop and smooth that initial drop out just a little bit. But I think overall, so it's honestly the best coaster I've made. I love this roll at the end where you kind of hang. I kind of got that concept and idea from Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City. I did originally have two in a row, but it just didn't quite work out, so I just kept it to one, and I had it where this one kind of hangs, and it goes right into this wave turn, I think that's what it's called. I'm trying to get better on the terminology. So yeah, and then, it's got a lot of these awkward kind of turns to it because that's what RMCs are. They're not necessarily the most smooth. I mean, they are smooth, but they're not. Sometimes they don't seem like they're as smooth as they actually are because of how awkward their turns are. And then this one, yeah, this I got from which this coaster looks amazing. I can't believe I hadn't heard about it before, but Untamed at Wallaby Holland does like a 270-degree roll, like a 0G roll, and then it reverses out. So that's where I got this concept from. And yeah, so I don't know exactly where this is going to go in the park, but as you can see with the length of it, it would not, I don't think it would really fit necessarily going along one of the borders. So I feel like it'd have to be in the back. But yeah, and so with the layout here, I kind of thought almost like making like a baseball field type in terms of that style, because I want to do something different that I've done before. I don't want to have another big lake in the center, or a ton of water around everything. And now that I have a PS5, I can kind of build up more, and especially using the extra Oswald counter, I could get about 120% on the PS5. So I feel like I could use a fair amount of this map. And this takes up 5%. Now, another thing too, I'm not keeping all this path like this. I just did this to kind of outline the boundaries. So as you can see, because I wanted to kind of see how far the park goes back and so forth, which I did not realize it goes all the way over there. Is that right? Oh, no, it's right here. Okay. Yeah. Um, but yeah, and so this is the flat ride area that I worked on because when I came into the park, like I said, I didn't want just a big lake right there. So I changed the elevation a little bit, and I first had a larger Ferris wheel, but then I wanted to have multiple flat rides, and it looked weird having the Ferris wheel in the middle and then one over here, but not on the other side. So I decided to go with the smaller Ferris wheel, the Chero swings, and the, oh gosh, what's that called? Loop de loop or loop de loop. There we go. Yeah, and so yeah, definitely. As you can see, Jasmine's wonderful flat ride scenery is kind of rubbed off on me a little bit here, and I decided to go with the hedges around, just kind of since it's near the entrance of the park and kind of fits with the style. And so you can see there's a little bit of an elevation change, not a ton, but it's enough to be noticeable. And so I think this looks nice as you're walking down here. So I think it looks good. One thing I did do on a couple of these is I carried the hedges through the queue line. And so in here, I didn't necessarily carry the hedges, but one thing I did do is I kind of put the hedges right near the ground so that it's covering the areas of grass, essentially. And so I think that's one trick that I'd never used before that can kind of hide some of the stuff that you don't want to see on the edge of the queue path. And then same thing here, except this time I actually did carry the hedges all the way through. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on this? What I just had a question. I forgot what that question is. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to add some food around here. Because obviously I don't have any food yet in the park. So, oh yeah, another thing that I did, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Is this too much? What do you guys think? So I got rid of the lights that were dangling there because I just thought that didn't really look that great. But I put up these signs, because you think about when you come into a theme park and you go into and I put these signs right here as well, these guest services and fast pass area, they've got all these signs up on the wall advertising stuff. Well, since we can't add in custom images, I thought, let's just put in the Planet Coaster advertisements they have, which this one's the best. That girl looks so excited to ride that coaster. Um, but yeah, and then Chief Beef over here, so kind of advertising kind of like a meal pass or something. And as you can see back here, I put, done a little bit of backstage work, and I kind of took Maddie's idea that he showed, and I probably should push them back a little bit further, but trying to kind of look like they're actually working and spitting out some air. And then you've got the electrical units, and of course you've got your cable wall and stuff like that. So the other area that I worked on is somebody last week said that I needed a disabled parking area. And so this isn't perfect, but I do think this is looking really nice now. Instead of having this really massive blank space here, what I have is I have two things that I built. First off is this disabled parking. And, I might change it up in terms of like making the spaces a little bit wider, giving some kind of extra space, because since this is going to be, in theory, people who are, disabled or in a wheelchair. And then when they are leaving, they come out this way, and then they'll kind of connect with the rest of the crowd, which I still do love this overflow parking area. I just think this looks so great. I mean, you look there, you can see the Vekoma Boomerang coaster in the distance, and then you also see the lift hill for the first big coaster in the park. So I think it looks great. And then this other area, so started kind of, set a lot of trees here. And this is going to be one of the main kind of service roads that leads around the park. And so I think in this area, I'm going to do some kind of the kids area, because I've never really made just a nice kids area in one of my parks. So I definitely want to try to do that. And then obviously we'll talk about that boomerang in a second. But this is going to be employee parking. So I decided to, because I wanted my employees to have an area to park, obviously, but I didn't want them to, like, basically go in where the guests were going in. So I decided to build up just using the concrete wall pieces, and then I used um, the pavement curve and curb in the studio pack, and I just elevated a little bit and put these hazard strips here for kind of lanes. Then now we've got ourselves employee parking area. So in theory, the employees would go in a tunnel right here and then come out right here. So that's kind of the theory and thought behind it. So yeah, actually, I have enough space where if I really wanted to do that, I could kind of make the entrance to that. That's an idea because this is where that's where it ends. And one thing too that I've noticed recently that you can do, which I'm sure a lot of you already know this, is like, let's say I were to do that. You can go outside of the edge of the park as long as you don't go to the edge of the map. So for example, I could have this be like a road. And so as you can see, you could go all the way. Why is that? Come on now. So you can go all the way until you reach the actual edge of the map, so like right there, right? So you can actually kind of have some, make it look like there's some service roads going around the park and stuff like that. Like this one, they have the tunnel to leave the park and so forth. That's something I might do though. I could just essentially copy and paste this and move it over here, and it would create kind of a little tunnel for the employees. I like that idea. There we go. But yeah, so this was not anything complicated. I still need to add stuff here. Like the backstage stuff, the equipment stuff. I got to add doors, stuff like that. But I do like how, here's kind of an entrance for employees to go. And yeah, so last thing to talk about is this Vekoma Boomerang coaster. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet around the theming. I thought about maybe doing a flat ride here, something else kind of right here, but we'll see. But what are your thoughts on it? What do you think about the colors? Corey from Web Gaming helped me pick out the colors because I was showing him kind of what I was doing after we filmed our Avery Forest episode, and I had no idea what to do with the colors of it. And I kind of called it torpedo just because they kind of look almost like the edge of them, like the warheads a little bit, because I'm terrible at naming coasters, so that could be a terrible name. But yeah, so, also, what do you think about the height? Is this too large? To me, I think it's a fairly good. I know Vekoma boomerangs aren't too tall, but I looked up and the height on all boomerangs are about 116 feet. And this is, let's look at the results, 39 meters. So that's basically right at 120-ish feet, a little bit more than that. So maybe 130. So it's a little bit taller than normal Vekoma boomerangs. But yeah, so I've got the Cobra roll and then the loop, and I did this little area here. I know it maybe doesn't look the best, but it's actually really smooth when you're on the coaster, and it's trying to get the two, I don't know what these are technically called on this because it's not necessarily a lift hill, but to get these close to each other. And then I had the certain type of corkscrews that have this extra support on there. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think it gives a good little sight line as you walk in the park. So I'm going to end this video with a POV of the coaster. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.